Hello and welcome to the very first episode of SAAFF Chronicles for 2026. I'm your host, Devlyn Naidoo, the executive for SARS and other government agencies at the Southern African Association of Freight Forwarders. As we begin the year, we turn our focus to a modality that quite literally keeps the heart of time-sensitive trade beating, air freight. Joining me today is Mr. Roy Solomons, consultant to the SAAFF Secretariat, former Chief Commercial Officer, and a seasoned air freight specialist. Roy brings with him decades of operational, strategic, and regulatory insight across both domestic and international air cargo ecosystems. Roy, welcome to the SAAFF Chronicles.
Thank you, Devlyn, and it's great to be here and a real timely discussion around what drives the beat of our economy in South Africa and also the pressures and challenges that we have going into 26. Lots of opportunities, but we need to take it forward.
Opportunities, I think, definitely aspects to look forward to in the new year. We'll head into our first segment around the global and domestic outlook. Roy, perhaps we start with a global picture. What are some of the major trends shaping air cargo performance internationally? And what should SAAFF members here in Southern Africa be paying close attention to?
Well, I think we've fairly normalized after post-COVID, and a lot of our normal channels of moving freight have opened up again and become normalized. But we also sit with various challenges from a geopolitical perspective. So as our members, we have to be flexible in terms of changing lanes, doing things differently, and being innovative. But one of the things that I think really takes us forward is how we do things together. We've always professed to our members of compliance, and I think that is one of the key things that we need to drive this year, as well as working together, collaborating on the industry challenges that we face on a daily basis.
This is an invaluable opportunity, Roy. You speak of collaboration, and I think this is an opportunity for us to engage with you, our most valued stakeholders, listening to this podcast, to engage with us in the spirit of collaboration, participate in the various work groups in respect of the air modality as we stitch the supply chain one seam at a time. That takes us very nicely, Roy, into the second segment, and the word that you referred to was opportunities as opposed to challenges. It aligns with the feedback we're receiving through the Prohibited and Restricted Index Revisions, Project ACME, where members consistently cite delays linked to health inspections, state veterinary checks, and documentary mismatches. From your perspective, Roy, what are the biggest opportunities within this modality right now?
Well, simply to me, it's digitization. With digitization, you actually streamline a lot of the processes that we are doing from a manual perspective, which creates its own challenges. So what we need to do is embrace the digitization of systems and work together and solve the industry problems. Like we speak about the domestic challenges that we have port congestion because our airports haven't changed over the past 20 years. The infrastructure challenges still remain. How do you solve that? Taking it to the next level and implementing a system that is all online.
You've mentioned a number of aspects that cross-cut the four layers of the logistics ecosystem. You spoke of the infrastructure challenges on the logistics layer. You spoke of manual processes impacting the regulatory layer, be it with the BMA Health, SAPRA, DALRAD, SARS Customs. You've also spoke to the stakeholders involved, need or the call for closer collaboration amongst licensed importers, exporters, customs brokers. And of course, you spoke about the transactional layer covering declarations, permits, and certifications. Roy, how do you see these layers interacting specifically within the air modality?
Well, the air modality is based on speed and express and urgency. So anywhere within that various layers, compliance needs to be key. And everybody complies, the system will run. If there is a hiccup anywhere, how do you determine where that hiccup is if it is not on a system? We once again get delays because a permit hasn't issued here or permission hasn't been granted here, and that delays the whole process, which costs the economy.
That's an incredible point you raised, Roy, around the need for data, and that data is enabled through case recording. And it is when we have empirical data that we're able to make informed decisions, as we have the ability to identify patterns and trends based on the systemic collation and collection of data. So I wish we had more time, Roy, because the insights you're sharing with our members, and I'm sure the members concur, is really informative, beneficial, and underscores the need for closer collaboration and engagement. On that point, it takes us nicely to our final segment, which is the key developments in service of our valued stakeholders. So, Roy, perhaps if I can ask you, and this is perhaps putting you on the spot a little bit, what are the key developments that you're able to talk us through in respect of projects for the benefit of the SAAFF stakeholders that we can look forward to in 2026?
Thanks, Devlyn. I'm just going to speak about two, I think, vital components that SAAFF is involved with. The first being the IHATA local community committee, which then now gives us a voice as agents to speak to the likes of IATA together with the airlines. Before, it was just the airlines forming and agreeing rules from a local and regional perspective. We have now the ability to put on the table the differences or what we should see as solutions to the common problems we have here. CAS is a system that we all use as agents, and we're forced to use it, but it protects the airlines. What we're trying to do is saying, let's make it more amenable for us to be able to do our businesses better, reduce bank guarantees, release some cash flow so that we can do better. So that's the one whilst it's in its infancy stage, we've already had quite positive engagements with IATA. They've put on the table to the local committee, which consists of SAAFF and another 7 agents on the committee. So you are well represented. And we are now able to influence those rules from a IATA perspective. So that's the one positive. The second one is that we are currently working together with the cargo handlers to develop a community portal system whereby it will reduce the communication that we're now currently doing via emails, phone calls, WhatsApp messages, etc., to our cargo handlers to say, when is my cargo ready? Has my cargo been released? Has my cargo been received? All of that will take away all the unnecessary dwell time of our trucks at the airport, because we will know when it's ready. We will know when to send them. We will know what status our shipments are at, etc., etc. It will save us a lot of time, money, and just productivity, increase our productivity and allow our cargo to move more freely through our ports. So those are two of the main projects that we are busy with that I can speak about now. And if any of the members want to know anything, get involved.
Roy, you spoke of getting involved at the last closing comments you made, and the projects you speak of link so beautifully to the layers we covered in the fourth segment, or the third segment, should we say, around the logistics layer with regard to the port community system, which reduces delays and puts time and costs back where it belongs, into the supply chain of cargo owners. You spoke of the CAS billing system and the need for representation. The establishment of the LCC, whilst in the infancy stages, is a massive step forward for the air modality in South Africa. So to our valued stakeholders listening into the podcast, how can you not be involved with all of the exciting developments and projects that not just resonate with the mission of the Southern African Association of Freight Forwarders, but also supports the greater need for a stabilized logistics network for the onward benefit of the Southern African economy. As always, Roy, thank you very much for your time, and thank you to our listeners for joining us on this first of many episodes of SAAFF Chronicles for 2026.